I was invited by Amhemsley to answer his 5 Mad Heathens question, why are we so scared of AI? I advise you to watch his video, which is his response to, before watching my answer. I'm going to address this question in true philosophical style by challenging the questioner's assumptions and concluding that a full answer is near impossible. Firstly, I contend the claims that science fiction is a reflection of our collective worries about the future, and that nightmarish fiction about AI demonstrates that we are worried about actual AI and the possibilities for this technology. I conjecture, and I am open to refutation on this, that what we fear is more complex, and that AI, which on such a hyperbolic scale is not really grounded in sound philosophy or science, see Hubert Dreyfus and Raymond Tallis, is an anthropomorphism of the machine. And by the machine I mean the seeming multitude of machines, made omnipresent and singular in our nightmares, that are slowly alienating us from the world. I believe that horror science fiction is far more about our fears of the present, that it usually has immediacy to it. The apocalypses of the Cold War were not fears of potential disasters at some future point, but the imminent threat posed by the USSR. Lovecraft's fictions were not about the possibility of alien invasion, but a universal existential isolation made terrifyingly obvious by metropolis like New York, a city I suspect horrified him. Brave New World was not a reaction to a future society, but fears Huxley had for the technological and social change in his society, as becomes evident from reading Brave New World Revisited. Was Mary Shelley afraid of a possible and literal Frankenstein's monster, or more metaphorical Frankensteinian monsters? I think the tagline, or the modern Prometheus, says it all. This is a simplistic analysis, so it is probably faulty. Indeed, some horror science fictions, rare as they are, strike me as peculiarly prescient. And in relation to this fascinating question about AI, I would particularly cite E.M. Foster's The Machine Stops, a dystopia of our times written 100 years ago. I believe AI in horror has little to do with hard science. The Terminator, Arthur C. Clarke's HAL 9000, the Cylons, etc. are allegorical in nature. Fear is rooted in the unknown. Is it the human in the Terminator that we fear? On the contrary, when the machine learns humanity, it becomes less frightening. We fear the unexplained and, worse yet, the unexplainable. AI is an old horror in modern clothes. Man-created monsters like the golem are part of antiquated Jewish mythology. AI is an anthropomorphism of the artificial, and our fear of it is rooted in the artificial. Is it the flicker of life that we fear in the machine, or the lifeless mask that slaughters mercilessly? That, worst of all, is emotionally unapproachable, unappeasable, a juggernaut, another crushing, killing, indifferent machine from antiquated mythology that does not stop to consider its victims. It speaks to the very nature of evil, which is not an attribute as such. It is not something with a positive ontology, but a lack of an attribute. Immorality is not a value, but the absence of values. The machine has no values, much like nature, which sometimes undergoes similar nightmarish anthropomorphism, see The Big Bad Wolf. Kafka knew this when he made a merciless machine from bureaucracy. People get too hung up on the intelligence part of AI. AI is also artificial. It is a human art, and the realization that art can harm us and even kill us. Think Nagasaki and Hiroshima, as well as the mechanical and systematic extermination of people in the Holocaust, or, less dramatically, a gun or simple knife breaking human flesh. In my room I am surrounded by machines. Like Foster's Vashti, I communicate to you through a video machine, a camera linked to a computer functioning as a mass communicator. Any responses to this video will be heard by me not merely through my ears, but a surround sound system or headphones, or perhaps read on a monitor. I scripted this on a word processor, and the ideas within, mostly second-hand, were gathered from books printed by machines or through massive online databases, encyclopedias of gathered human knowledge. Even if I leave my pod, I often travel in a machine to mechanical cities where machines instruct me how to safely navigate across a landscape filled with traveling machines, and where machines elevate me up mechanically constructed skyscrapers so I can go shopping to fill my house with more machines. That is, if I do not choose to buy machines at massive online shops. I fear AI as a reflection not of a machine awakening, but as an ominous sense of the sleeping machine's impact. Disconnection, alienation. The machine is terrifying and everywhere. Look around you now, at your phone, your TV, your camera, your car, your microwave. What aspect of your life is untouched by the mechanical? The uncaring artificial is no longer in competition with an uncaring nature. The CCTV watches me from the shadows, not the big bad wolf. To endow CCTV with consciousness misses the point. We never fear the human side of the wolf, and we do not fear the human side of CCTV. It is the animal ferocity of the former and the blank, incomprehensible stare of the latter that we fear. But perhaps we fear neither. Perhaps, on a more primal level, such fears are not reflections on our environment at all, and are, in fact, entirely fears of the human. Where does the machine stop and you begin? Does the boundary blur with every passing day? When you are on the bus, perhaps you notice people have wires coming from their ears attached to little music boxes. Is there a machine within comparable to the old beast within? When once mindlessly evil people were described as sheep, are they now droids? When once merciless people were called animals, are they now robots? Is evil AI, then, a side of the human we most desire to alienate from ourselves? Perhaps the machine within, similar to the beast within, is a desperate attempt to project our own mechanical indifference to others' suffering on an insentient lump of metal. Perhaps the face of the Terminator is a mask we fear we often don. Why, in our fantasies, do we endow the machine, or the beast, with that unique human attribute, intelligence, or higher emotions, or consciousness? Is it our fear of a monstrous environment, or a denial of our monstrousness? Maybe both. I feel this excellent question opens up room for an analysis that could fill a book, let alone a short vlog, and I am grateful for the opportunity to imperfectly answer. Thanks for listening.